up, Woodward. We are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Fired up!
Y'all got Kool-Aid.
I'm fired up! But with the Wake Up Woodward Crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener. Okay.
Along with JB and KG. Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk. Every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. A show for Detroit, by Detroit, with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm, because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
What up, though, people? It's Wake Up Woodward, and we appreciate you all for choosing to kick off the day with the WUW Crew. It's your boy, Brandon Dan, K. Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. Flannel Sam, the better the squad, better the network. Red Wings correspondent, all sports norm. How you feeling this morning, brother?
I mean, I'm feeling all right. Not super hyped about the Red Wings, but that's what happens when you go into Washington this year. Washington's a wagon. The Red Wings are far, far away. But fortunately, we've got enough TLB so that we don't have to really harp on the Red Wings much today.
I was about to say, man, before we jump into some TLB, you want to tell the people what's on the menu today? I'm excited for today's show.
Well, there were some re-signings. Probably not the ones that people are super excited about, but we got to talk about it. There's another player for the Lions, very prominent, going into the final year of his rookie contract. We're going to discuss what type of extension he might get, should he get an extension, et cetera, et cetera. And then for most of the second half of the show, it's just going to be a lot of Rod Beard. He's back. We're going to talk all things Detroit sports. And, of course, we are going to do our Woodward Pistons segment. Shout out to the Steph Curry-less Golden State Warriors helping the Pistons out last night with a...
That's JB's worlds colliding for good.
Again, JB gets away with murder compared to me, but that's just me. That's just me.
Whoa,
It's not just you.
KG, dog, this chair gonna get me today.
Yeah, I know.
Fell off the side.
Who did that to the chair?
So flannel, dog.
Okay, wait, what's wrong with the chair?
The chair has been murdered.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. But we got to talk about it. The Lions officially re-signed Netflix, the running back known as Craig Reynolds, and D lineman Pat O'Connor.
Hey.
And obviously we got the ball knowers on the squad. The content has been going ham as well on the channel, so shout out to you guys for supporting, and shout out to these guys for being tapped in. Is this a big deal or no? And I'm glad that that's the question, because the way that the Tim Patrick video was worded was kind of similar, and it blew up, and I noticed that a lot of people were appreciative of the type of deep dive that we took in just the signing of a Tim Patrick. But Craig Reynolds, Pat O'Connor, and as it relates to Craig Reynolds, one of those kind of culture guys he seems like to be one of those Dan Campbell guys who's just found a way, as Stick calls these guys the cockroaches. They just find a way to stick around no matter what the circumstances.
Yeah, they definitely do. Craig Reynolds has been here way back in the day. If you remember, he had that big game, I think against Denver in the 2021 season, and has been in a lot of ways living off of that ever since. Although he's had some moments with the Detroit Lions, you can definitely point to that block he had on that Amon-Ra touchdown at Tampa last year, and he scored a touchdown in the playoffs.
When he wasn't supposed to be.
I know, had 139 rushing yards last year, is a staple on special teams. So when it comes to Craig Reynolds, I'm okay with it. I don't necessarily think it moves the needle that much because at the end of the day, he is a third-string running back. But if there are injuries to Gibbs or David Montgomery, that's when you're really going to feel the presence of a Craig Reynolds, because not that this means that much, not that this is much of a flex. You could argue he's the best third-string running back in the NFL. What does that mean? I don't know, but it doesn't mean anything until it does. As far as Pat O'Connor goes, that doesn't move the needle for me at all. I thought some people on social media were way too excited. To me, here's what Pat O'Connor is, and this is going to sound really mean, but I just have to say what I feel. A guy like, I'm going to compare him to a guy like Roy Lopez. Roy Lopez, to me, is real depth. Pat O'Connor is fake depth. Pat O'Connor would have not seen a snap last year if it wasn't for the myriad of injuries with the Detroit Lions. Pat O'Connor will spend a big chunk of the season, unless there's another injury-riddled season, on the practice squad. So Pat O'Connor to me means nothing. Craig Reynolds, it's nice. I don't think these signings move the needle that much, but at the end of the day, What's it going to cost you? Damn near nothing.
What's it going to cost you? Not a lot. And you know what I like here, and I just had some of these stats up. When you're talking about a Craig Reynolds, I'm more in line in the camp with you. If you're bringing back Pat O'Connor, then they're looking at super depth. Like we saw them have to go down into the depths last year for that. But when I look at a Craig Reynolds, it is a person who I don't think that you're wrong to say he might be the best, third string running back in the league. And we know this. This is what we do know about Craig Reynolds. If something happens to the not getting any more spry and young David Montgomery, we do know that a Craig Reynolds can step up and effectively play the same exact role. And that's what we saw, even specifically in the 40-34 win over San Francisco, where Craig Reynolds went and put up 4.5 yards a carry on the ground, 31 yards on 7 carries. But the other thing he did that we saw David Montgomery starting to really, really do a lot better is the receiving game as well. So when you look at that game too, he also had a couple catches, a couple targets. He caught them for 35 yards. And that to me is kind of the impact of a Craig Reynolds. If you need a back that hey, goal line situation, maybe David Montgomery just has a stinger and is out for a play. We know that we can trust a Craig Reynolds to go in there. When you just kind of look at the box score, when he got at least 7-8 carries a game, he's putting up 4. Look at his last 3 games, the Bears, the San Francisco 49ers, the Minnesota Vikings, he put up 4.4, 4.5, 4.9 yards a carry. And that's what you want out of a third string back. And that's why it's like, you know what? Yeah, we're not going to go out here and act as if we just addressed our biggest needs on the team. But as it relates to setting that culture for a team that's had a lot of change from some of its biggest culture setters, and your offensive coordinator and your defensive coordinator are no longer here, this is one that I actually really, really like in Craig Reynolds, and I think that it's going to help the Detroit Lions in the long run, like we saw it helped them in the long run last year.
Yeah, and also before I pass it over to KG, David Montgomery, for all of the good that he's provided with the Detroit Lions, and it's been a lot. In each of his 2 seasons here, he's missed 3 games. He's a guy that takes a lot of punishment. So I'm not necessarily expecting David Montgomery to play all 17. And even when you talk about Jahmyr Gibbs, the running back position is just one in which you intake a lot of wear and tear. So having Craig Reynolds here as somebody who is, I still think, the best third-string running back in the NFL, as somebody who on a couple games basis can be your second string, can give you 5 carries for 22 yards when needed, and also is a staple on special teams. I'm certainly more than okay with Craig Reynolds getting re-signed, as long as it's super cheap, but he's Craig freaking Reynolds. Yeah. Of course it is. With all due respect, of course. Respectfully.
Yeah, shout out to Netflix and Pat O'Connor for getting those contracts. And we understand that these aren't the most sexy moves in the world, ain't the most exciting moves in the world. But at the same time, I'm glad that we're retaining players that have actually come in here and proven that they can work on the field. Craig Reynolds, perfect example. He's been a stalwart at that third running back spot for a couple years now, and he's going out there and proving when given the opportunity that he can make an impact on this offense. Now, you hope to not see him as much because that means Monty and that means Gibbs are out there showing out and doing their thing, but at least you have somebody at that third spot, in case of emergency, break glass, whether it be at the goal line, whether you just need a couple drives, couple series, maybe even a game or two, that you can rely on somebody like Craig Reynolds. This is somebody that they've liked, for quite some time. And even with Pat O'Connor, and I get it, Sam, but I won't go full nuclear.
He's someone I've heard his name from you a little bit more than others last season.
Well, he contributed.
I'm intrigued by this.
No, but in the spot that he was put in last year, he did come in and contribute. Now, of course, he didn't put up the greatest numbers in the world, not saying that, but for what you needed him to come in and do, he performed well. And signings like this is not just for for depth, but more importantly, this goes toward the culture as well. This just shows you that they will look out for you if you perform at any level, no matter what your spot is on this team, whether you're a star on this team, whether you're a practice squad guy. If you come in, you work hard, and you show us that you can, contribute on the field, then they will take care of you. And I think that goes a long way as an organization.
I think you're overselling Pat O'Connor, but that's just me. Of course, old Flannel Sam hates
I literally said this is not like the greatest move ever, but
all right. I think I don't think he's going to see much time.
Hopefully he doesn't.
Hopefully he doesn't.
But if he does, he can play. You're not just sending a scrub out there. That's all I'm saying.
I think Pat O'Connor is a scrub, with all due respect. With all due respect. Actually,
he's
that's
a
very
scrub that
disrespectful.
got you a few sacks last year.
He got one. He got one.
Say, he got you a couple sacks.
He got one.
Hey, it's the month of brackets, right? Jake Rogers or Pat O'Connor?
Jake Rogers. Not even close. Not even. Jake Rogers is a starting catcher.
We got a small attaboy. We got a small
compared to
attaboy.
Pat O'Connor, a ninth-string defensive tackle. But just to highlight one more thing about Craig Reynolds, because you alluded to it, I wanted to give you the exact numbers. In the last 3 games of the regular season last year, in which the Lions were 3-0 and they were able to clinch the NFC North, and those were games in which David Montgomery was out, Craig Reynolds gave you 19 carries for 88 yards in those 3 games and three catches for 40 yards. So very solid backup running back numbers when you had Jahmyr Gibbs really being, for those games, the bell cow.
Crazy.
That's really all that you needed from a Craig Reynolds, and he's just shown, especially running behind this offensive line, that damn near every time he touched, like for his entire career, he's a 4.3 yards per carry guy. So basically, it's when the team was bad, when the team's good, even though the offensive line has always been all right, he's going to perform when he's asked to perform. So happy with the Craig Reynolds one, the Pat O'Connor one.
Why do you hate Pat O'Connor so
If you're
much?
blowing your wad over Pat O'Connor, seek help. There were people on social media, great move, Patty-O.
He's a likable.
Remember, it was just St. Patrick's Day.
He's a likable depth piece.
And you know how
I
we
don't
do about our
understand.
depth pieces and our role players here in the great state of Michigan.
Oh.
You talking about depth?
Listen, bro.
You know Sam don't like role players. You know he don't.
There are literal people in this city that Don Kelly, fuck Prince Fielder, he was a bum. That literally happens. Ask regular Tiger fans.
Sam,
It's the Detroit ethos. It just is when it comes to certain things. I don't give a shit about Pat O'Connor.
I'm just saying.
He blows. He's a nobody.
Your second best pass rusher came in here and provided 4 sacks. He got 1 sack. I'm just saying, not saying it's the best move in the world, dog, but come on.
Yeah, I've even been trying to defend him, but I've just been laughing too hard, bro.
He's not a role player. He's a practice squad that got bumped up because the Lions were in desperate need.
Is that the sound of another Jersey bet I'm hearing right now?
It might be Pat O'Connor 2 sacks. 2
on that
sacks.
field
Right.
for at least 3 games. He's good.
If he gets 15 snaps, you getting that jersey, bro.
That would probably be the sickest jersey buy for him ever.
No, it would.
Off of 2 sacks.
There are literal people in this city that will be like Darren McCarty.
I'll pay for
Sergey
D-Mac.
Fedorov. Bomb. He quit.
We still on
Literally.
we still doing the D-back thing.
Not exist for that man.
Hold on, go start it over. What up, though?
I love D-Mac. The Geneva Convention doesn't exist for that man. I would do anything and everything for that man. I love D-Mac.
Yeah.
So.
No, I love D-Mac too. I was using it in comparison. There are literal
To
people.
the Sergey haters.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is crazy. Put that man's jersey in the rafters, dog.
Yeah.
Like, goodness gracious. The 2 things that need to happen in Detroit sports, Sergey's jersey in the rafters, and Isaiah Thomas needs some type of monument while he still can see it, man. Goodness gracious, man. But who knew Pat O'Connor?
Who knew Pat O'Connor had a legion of fans in the chat?
I'm just saying, it's not the fucking. You act like it's the plague or some shit.
He's not good.
It's a depth piece. We all know what
It's not a
this
depth
is.
piece.
It's not
Roy
nothing that
Lopez is a
fucking-
depth piece. Roy Lopez is a real depth
All right,
piece. I went over that.
Would you say he's at least a better culture fit, a better culture piece than CJ GJ?
Well, yeah, but CJ. I mean, CJ. Well, I don't want to go there with
Just
with,
ruined our
CJ,
chances to
GJ.
get Pat O'Connor on the show. Good job, Sam.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
I'm
We
sorry,
still love
Pat.
you,
If
Pat.
you watch it, I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
We still love you, Pat.
Man.
The Tom Kennedy wad blowers and the Pat O'Connor wad blowers are all the same people. Yep. And nobody can get 0 catches for 0 yards quite like Tom Kennedy, and nobody can get healthy scratched like Pat O'Connor.
Look, I continue to look at the re-signings, and they are ones that have left people really split down the middle, especially when you look at like Barnes and some of the others, Davenport, even if it's a good deal. And I think largely what we're seeing is this team going out there and being more comfortable with what they have in-house, especially, breaking in some new coordinators to the Lions, offensively and defensively. I almost feel like this is more about comfort, familiarity, believing that they're going to at least reach the minimum and not believing that you're going to have, 21 or 22 players hit IR. You know, if this thing is one where Pat O'Connor can be what he actually is rather than having to play meaningful snaps more than we expect, you know, then it's like, hey, I guess this squad is trying to at least make sure moving forward that their room is right and that they could trust the work that these guys put in. And that's, like I told you, I agree more with you where I'm like, hey, Craig Reynolds, that's when I'm like, yes, we saw that pay dividends. And with David Montgomery, and you got to assume an increase in production from Jahmyr Gibbs, you're going to want a Craig Reynolds to be able to take some of the heat off of them, especially in protection downs. I don't know how much I really want David Montgomery in on every single time we know we need you to pick up a blitz or something like that. Craig Reynolds, he has served that purpose in spots throughout the season. And with a Pat O'Connor, I agree more with Sam, but I do know that is a name I've heard KG talk about a lot. Not a lot, but more so than others, just to at least tip the cap to him.
Yeah, exactly. Respect.
I respect Craig Reynolds, and if people say that I hate role players, I just gave Craig Reynolds a lot of shine, just for the record. But there are levels to this.
Burns sent in a $5 super chat. He said, for me, it's Trevor Nowatzki. What does he mean by that? Is that his crash out?
Yeah, that's
dead serious. Trevor Nowatzki, greater than Pat O'Connor. There are levels to
I wouldn't put that many greater than
but that's fine. I wonder if anybody else got any crash outs, man. It's been a lot of signings. Listen. Hey, chat family, put your crash out situational moment in the chat. Even if it's the Tigers striking out on Bregman or Javi Baez potentially about to be our third baseman.
Yeah.
God. Let's get to this next segment because we got more TLB.
A little bit more kumbaya, I suspect. But
before we go to break, I got to shout out this super chat as well, too, before the show even started. Shout out to Mike Willetti. He says, shout out to Lake Superior State University Lakers men's basketball on their NCAA Midwest Regional Championship on to the NCAA D2 Elite 8. So shout out to the team right there, man. Congratulations as well.
Go Lakers.
And shout out to Mike too, man. I ran into him at I used to run into him at Tigers games, man. Shout out to him, and it was always it was cool talking about like the different concourse foods and things like that. So Mike, I hope to see you this year as well. Maybe we see you down at opening day, and if you're trying to get down there, you're one of the ones. I'll definitely make sure gets one of those Grand Slam opening day passes whenever we get them in our hands, man. Shout out to Mike.
Shout out, man.
Shout out. But I got to tell you about Feldman. Feldman Chevrolet of Novi, Detroit's #1 Chevrolet dealer and the Chevrolet Dealer of the Year for 6 consecutive years. They got deals of the month. You can get a 2025 Chevy Silverado 1500 Crew Cab for just $199 a month. You can also get a 2025 Chevy Equinox for only $249 a month. Come see George Hawes and his team at Feldman Chevrolet of Novi.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Caesar Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. Do yourself a favor. Scan the QR code on screen. Use code word Woodward1000. You can deposit up to $1,000, but all you have to do is place a minimum of a $20 bet. And if it doesn't hit, it goes right back into your account with no questions asked. It's Caesar Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. Hey, there's some games tonight. Make some money.
Make some money. What up, dope people? Welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward. We got more TLB on the way, but Flannel has ignited a little bit of role player talk the chat.
Pat O'Connor is not a role player.
Shout out to Mike G. He put his top 5 best role players.
Yeah.
D-Mac is number 1. Ben Wallace number 2. Donnie Kelly Baby number 3. Number 4, our very own Flannel Sam. And number 5, Lindsey Hunter.
But that's the thing, though. Putting Lindsey Hunter, Darren McCarty, and Ben Wallace as role players in almost the same breath, or implying the same breath as Pat O'Connor, is insane. Don Kelly, though. Don Kelly and Pat O'Connor can both take a
How do you feel about
town.
Don Kelly being ranked ahead of you?
Yeah.
Nobody
people that Sam hate.
Nobody can give you a .230 batting average and 7 home runs and 25 RBIs in a season, quite like Donnie Kelly, baby.
They can't stop Don Kelly. Hey, you know what? We got to get back into this TLB. Word to our brother Matthew Broder. Hey, you want to let the people know what that is, KG?
Talk Lions, bitch.
That was one of the greatest hot mics I think of all time, man.
I was masterworked by myself.
Listen, the Detroit Lions, they have, I don't want to call it a dilemma. I'm hoping that this is just push to start. It's just, hey, get it done. Because the better you draft, the more you're going to have to make the decisions of what players you do choose to cash out on. This one, to me, is a no-brainer. Kerby Joseph states that he wants to be a lifelong Lion. Yes. And you know what? When we drop that across socials, man, that thing collectively is already well past 1 million views and engagements, just because of what and who Kerby Joseph has been. And I believe since he's entered the league, leading the league in interceptions?
17 in his first 3 seasons. I think that leads the league over the last 3.
Yeah, so we already know what Kerby is. Not just a ball hog, but somebody who we've routinely now over the last couple of years see take touchdowns away from teams that's driven down against a defense that's been largely porous. But what's the priority level as it relates to re-signing a Kerby Joseph, because or extending a Kerby Joseph, because that price tag is going to be a pretty one.
Yeah, I think the way that this team is constructed as of right now, it's high. I will give you one caveat. And I don't think this is going to happen, if the Lions were to say, shock us all and make a Trey Hendrickson trade and extend him, then we could have those conversations about Kerby Joseph and whether you just let it play out and let him walk. But I don't think that's going to happen. And the Lions haven't brought in a high-priced edge. So I think you really need Kerby Joseph for this team. And the reality is, when it comes to Kerby Joseph, is he earned a contract. This year, he was an absolute revelation. And it's not to say that he wasn't always a ball hawk, but this season, who would have seen him being a first-team All-Pro safety? Who would have seen him being objectively the best safety in the NFL? I don't think anyone would have, but he did it.
Well, Spinney did, but...
Well, okay, first-team All-Pro.
Yeah, he didn't call that, but he said he would lead the league in interceptions.
He did.
I thought he had a shot. I remember when we broke it down, we had the top 5 duos graphic, and it was a conversation that we thought they belonged in. And I remember at that time, that was what it was, though. We were talking about the strongest points and the strong suits of guys like Brian Branch, Kerby Joseph, and how the defensive line was going to put them in, and the additions to the secondary, with the defensive backs, was going to put them in a better position to really go out there and roam and do what they do best, and that's take the ball away and lay down some crushing hits that got the rest of the league crying. So I don't know if people thought maybe first team All-Pro and leading the league in interceptions, but it's definitely some bullish people about who they could be.
No, and for the record, I heard with my own ears Spenny say that he was going to lead the NFL in interceptions, and he was right. But for like the Shods and the Wheezies in the chat, no, you didn't. You did not say that Kerby Joseph was going to be the first team All-Pro safety. Know. It's very on brand for you two, by the way. To the shock of absolutely no one, Shod and Wheezy were claiming that they always saw Kerby Joseph as the first team All-Pro safety this year. But I digress. But this season, let me just repeat some numbers again. First team All-Pro, the PFF #1 ranked safety, #1 in the NFL in interceptions. And another way in which Kerby Joseph improved, which is underrated. We all know that this year he was a very good tackler. He's good against the run. He just gets people on the ground. This season, he only had a 6% missed tackle rate, whereas previous career high was 12. So Kerby Joseph making improvements. Like, he's always been a heck of a ball hawk. I know that we as fans will always appreciate him for what he did to Aaron Rodgers in the 2022 final game at Lambeau, and certainly what he did in 2023 with the 4 interceptions. And we also love the fact that Kerby Joseph has been remarkably durable. In 3 seasons, he's only missed 2 games. And we know on this Lions defense, after what happened last year, we need a season. They need a season as a team, and we need a season as fans in which, the injury bug doesn't bite us as much. So with all of that being said, I want him to be extended if this is the way that the team is going to be currently constructed, because even though his first 2 seasons were a little bit more up and down, he struggled in a lot of ways. No matter what the season, he's always been a ball hawk, and he's always played damn near every single game. And this year, he took that leap. If I were Brad Holmes, what I would offer Kerby Joseph, 4 years, $80 million. That would make Kerby Joseph in an AAV level the second highest paid safety in the NFL after Antoine Winfield Jr. And I think 4 years, $80 million as a starting point is what I would offer Kerby, because I think he's earned it.
And I see Jesse Adams in the chat. I think they're going to sign Kerby back. I love Kerby, but at the same time, I could see them maybe letting him walk because they won't want to overpay for a safety. I mean, Brad did get him in the 3rd. And when I think about Kerby Joseph and the type of impact he has on the field, it's a little bit different than just going out there and playing the position, which there are some other talented safeties in the league that played the position well. Some out there as well in Green Bay Packerland. I'm not going to mention his name. He got popped for talking during the season, and it is what it is. We'll just leave it that way. But Kerby Joseph, to me, was a player that struck fear in the opponents. Mm-hmm. They would want to run their mouth when the cameras were going, and when Kerby would step on the field, all of a sudden acting like, oh, what's going on? What? Mm-hmm. He was the one that got people out here crying. Him and Anzo. Right. They're the ones that got literally people crying. Tucker Kraft. Well, yeah, we'll mention him. But the other safety, he gets no time on here. I'm so glad that he backed down. That last interview with Rigo, he was like, I ain't got nothing else to say. I was like, good. And that's, to me, what it was. I saw Kerby was a killer. These other safeties are just really good safeties. Yeah. And that, to me, is kind of what the difference is with Kerby Joseph. It's like I don't want any of my wide receivers running against him. I don't want them catching the ball in the middle of the field or even having to go out there and challenge against a Kerby Joseph. I liked a lot of the intrinsic things he did, obviously the culture that he set, and you don't want to cripple the way that you build your team from long-term success. But I do believe even just beyond the stats, there was just a different level of dog that Kerby Joseph was out there on that field, and how those other players have responded to it, cried about it, talked about it. Matthew Stafford famously running up. And when you think about the fact that we talk about the shot callers on this team, go back to the beginning of the season when they played the cute little game where they're holding up the signs and everybody else is having fun. Kerby Joseph was looking at these logos and having PTSD, like, no, I'm effing people up this season. Mm-hmm. And he called it. And each time he beat one of them teams, he would post that to his stories, him holding up the sign of the Rams, first game of the season. So it's just like, I kind of like that, man. And the ability to be able to have that in that secondary room, man, that's where I'm like, you know what, I'm all for it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Everything that he does, he backs it up. And he's gained so much of a reputation that people want to call him dirty because he goes out there, he handles his business. But just for the record, he is far from dirty. All the hits that he has laid on people have been clean hits, hasn't been fined, hasn't been flagged really. So Kerby Joseph, he's done everything in his power to become more of a complete safety in this league. And you got to give him credit for that because he's improved year by year by year. But this last season was really like a step up in, okay, he might be the best safety in the league type conversation. And I think the Lions value what he brings to the table attitude-wise and just, how he plays on the field. And I can definitely see him getting extended. I think he's earned it at this point. And for all the people that want us to go out there and spend all that cap space. This is why you save cap space. So you can extend guys like this, because we already have a lot of stars in our locker room already. And for the people that think, we got over 50 million in cap space, let's just spend it all until like the last 2 or 3 million. It doesn't work like that. They want to be able to preserve some money so they can roll over some cap and be able to extend their guys. I don't know exactly how much cap gets rolled over, but that plays a big factor into why they don't spend so much in free agency. But I think Kerby Joseph does get extended.
Man, I see a couple of things in the chat, and
You
there.
see some stuff too, huh?
Well, yeah, there's a couple of, I would say, conflicting ideas, which is fine, by the way. I certainly like that. There's one, and I lost it, but I will try to remember it, that basically said, I think it was IT Hips, that said, you can't make the best safety in the NFL the second highest paid safety.
I did.
The second highest paid safety. So
the real K77.
The real K77. My
Brad Holmes
fault.
needs to pay that, man.
I mean, there is a limit to how far that I would go. I don't know if I would give him, for example, 4 years at 100, but I don't think that that's necessarily what he is going to ask for, what he is going to ultimately get. And I see another one that says, basically, paying a safety $20 million a year is overkill given who else you have to sign. And I think as long as there's no other big moves this offseason, which I think at this point there isn't, I think you can afford to pay Kerby Joseph $20 million a year, just given on what he's earned at this point. Because for 1 year, even though he wasn't always what he was last year, if Kerby Joseph continues to play at the level that he did last year for the duration of his contract, for 2 out of the 4 years, for 3 out of the 4 years, and the Lions ultimately bring home a Lombardi, then that's a steal. But of course, $20 million for a safety does seem a lot on the surface, considering there's only one other person in the NFL that does that. That's Antoine Winfield Jr. But I think Kerby has earned that just with the roster is constructed right now. I think you need Kerby Joseph patrolling the back end, especially when I think that there's some uncertainty with the pass rush outside of Aiden Hutchinson and Ali McNeil.
Yeah, true that. And you know what? We know also that Kerby Joseph is still effective even if the pass rush is hit too. It's like when I see who he's been the last 2 years, where we have largely all talked about we need more pass rush help, we're not getting home to the quarterback as much as we should, but whose play hasn't really been dictated or predicated based on that? Kerby Joseph's. Yeah. And that's where it's like, there's something that's a little bit different there, because other safeties in the league, you hear their name more when the defense in front of them is just a little bit better in performing as well. But this was an interesting exchange. Phil, is Kerby anything without Brian Branch? I guess that's a fair question.
He was doing it before Brian Branch got here.
Burns responded, is Brian Branch anything without Kerb? Don't break that up. Keep them both.
This is just what I see. I think Brian Branch is a better player. Yeah. Personally, I think he's more all around. I think that he's the better of the duo. But last season, if Kerby Joseph is taking the ball away at the level that he was last year, then he's Ed Reed. And that's tantalizing, of course. Last season, and I get it, Ed Reed to me is the best to ever do it. But last season, Kerby Joseph literally, not figuratively, literally had an Ed Reed season. I think both of them would be good regardless of who plays beside them. But when it comes to Brian Branch, I understand the thought process that if Kerby Joseph were to ask for something insane, you could say, oh, we still have Brian Branch, we'll be okay. But we also look at the roster right now. There's not a lot of safety depth. They let Ife Melifonwu go. And to me, letting Ife Melifonwu go and letting him go to sign a 1 year, $4 million contract, that tells me that they're going to pay Kerby Joseph. Because you could make that argument, although I wouldn't, if Ife was still here, you could play hardball with a Kerby Joseph. But now you really can't, because you don't have anybody. There's literally nobody on the roster to play safety right now besides Kerby Joseph and Brian Branch. I'm not saying Brad Holmes wouldn't make moves to mitigate that, but I think Kerby's getting re-signed. I think that's a high priority for the Lions. Whether you want it to be or not, I think it is.
I like that. That is definitely the kumbaya point there. And voice of reason. What up, though?
What's going on? I'm kind of in lockstep with Sam on this one. Just the simple fact that he is the highest rated player that we have right now. And I don't want to sit here and say there's a blank check for him, but I think there's a limit. I don't mind the $20 million. Honestly, our Spotrac has him at 4 years, 92. So I mean, it's kind of not along those same lines as well too. I would probably go anywhere from 85 to 90, if anything. But I definitely want him on this team. There's no way you sit here and just let this man walk. As much as he's done for this Lions team, there is no way possible. He's a fan favorite, and he wants to be here. So, once again, keep him here just like you did Tim Patrick.
You know what, JB? You're right. I didn't even look at Kerby Joseph's calculated market value because I didn't even know that they had those for players who are not free agents. But it's actually closer to 4 years, 93.
So you're kind of on the point in that 4 years, 93 would be a little bit of
a longer term deal. You can do a little more maneuvering as well in terms of you can add 4 years, you can restructure if you need to. So even if you pay him up front, I don't think it'd be the worst thing in the world.
Because you were saying 4 and 80, that 4 and 93, is that a little too rich for your blood?
I would rather do like 5 at 100 or 5 at 103 or 105 or something like that.
With some flexibility.
Yeah. But I can't say in one breath that Kerby Joseph had a literal Ed Reed season last year and then be like, $23 million a year is insane. It's not if he's that. I don't know if that's sustainable by anyone at this stage playing safety in the NFL. But Kerby Joseph, like I said, the two constants of Kerby Joseph's career is that he always plays and he takes the ball away. Those are two really important things when it comes to being a safety, even if as an all-around player, he wasn't what he was his third year, his first 2 years.
No, this was interesting, and I appreciate JB with that pull, the voice of reason with the potential market value for a guy like Kerby Joseph.
That was a great pull, JB.
Yeah, 4 for 93. I would go that extra year. What did we see even this offseason? We saw a lot of teams that are at the top of the league have some of their great and high-paid players restructure for the sake of the Super Bowl window. And that's where, if you know you have a guy that is willing to do that type of stuff, I think that it does bode better to say, you know what, we're going to lock you up with a base, financial incentive right now. And if we need to create some flexibility later to keep this Super Bowl window open, we can definitely do that. And that is what I do believe. When you listen to Kerby Joseph speak, when you hear the fact that he wants to be a lifelong Lion, then I do believe some of that also comes into mind. You have to know if this is what you're projecting to be, then you have to know that there's going to be give and take on both ways. And what we've seen from Brad Holmes is he will cash out on his guys. Mm-hmm. We've seen this already with Amon-Ra. We've seen this with Panay. Going to see this with Hutch. And if it's Kerby Joseph back here, we know he's going to cash out. And I do believe that as long as there's that flexibility on the back end, and that's where I agree with you as well, Flannel, maybe push that out to a 5th year to give yourself even more flexibility, give them a little bit more guaranteed money over a longer space of time, which sometimes you don't get those types of those deals, that type of long-term security in the league. So it's that give and take. And one thing we do know, we're in that trust in Brad Holmes mode because we're talking about him tweaking a team that was 15-2 without some of its best players. Mm-hmm. That's the one caveat.
I've been doing some thinking on the fly since JB came through with that calculated market value for a Kerby Joseph. If I were to hear tomorrow that Kerby Joseph re-signed or was extended with the Lions for 4 years, 93, I wouldn't necessarily hate it. I would be worried. Here's what I would say. I would say that if you extend Kerby Joseph for 4 years, $93 million, and you hit on an edge rusher in the first round, I'm cool. I think that there's certainly a wild card with an edge rusher in the first round, especially if the Lions don't trade up, if they make the pick at a 28. But there's some options. As long as Brad Holmes has a draft this year in which a defensive player or two contributes at a high level in his rookie season, I think that if you want to pay Kerby Joseph 4 years, $93 million, I wouldn't necessarily hate that. Although, as I said, 4 years at 80 sounds about right to me, but I view Spotrac as as a reference before, and the 4 years 80 was just the Flannel Sam way. So I will trust what they have, but also Kerby Joseph did say he wants to be a lifelong Lion, and $20 million AAV would make him the second highest paid safety in the NFL in terms of AAV. That's not peanuts. That's not crumbs.
Yep. And chat family as well. I want to know what you guys feel too. I see a couple people are putting in what they think they would do. I see some 20s. I see Super Bowl Kerby for 15 million tops. Let us know what you guys think.
Then you're not having Kerby.
You're not having Kerby. I don't think
he got to get paid too. I understand he loves the city, and hopefully the culture plays a part, but he's gonna get paid.
I don't think he's taking a discount. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think if it is, it won't be a big discount.
And speaking of which, I saw you respond to Matt Broder in the chat. Shout out Malachi Starks draft pick incoming.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what's funny? I actually saw a mock draft which had the Lions picking Starks at 28. I wouldn't like it personally unless you were planning on letting Kerby Joseph walk, which I don't think that they are at this structure. But 4 years, 93, I said that I would accept it and be like, Brad, do your thing in the draft. But 4 years at 93, even saying it out loud is like, I'd like him to take just a little bit less. That would make Kerby Joseph the highest paid safety in the NFL by a pretty wide margin in terms of average annual value.
But this is why he's
the guaranteed money too on something like that.
This is why he's going into the draft for the edge rusher that we all want, because if you go out there and you pay a big name or a superstar, that's going to take away from the money that you can possibly pay guys down the road. And we are getting in that territory now to where you have to be careful with the moves that you make, because Hutch is on the line, Kerby is on the line, Gibbs will eventually be on the line, J-Mo. These are all guys that we hope to keep. Not to mention Brian Branch in another 2 years. So it's like, we have to plan for things like this, and this is why they're not going crazy in the free agent market.
He might have to lock them up early, because we know that cap space is going to continue to go up. And think about how well he's already helped himself by locking up Panay and Amon-Ra. So the one thing we do know is I do believe Brad Holmes is a little bit ahead of schedule. He's given himself the time to be able to make those decisions appropriately. When you talk about their young players and locking them up, they are actualized all pros.
Yeah.
So it's like when you think about it from that standpoint, what a menu that he has to be able to sit back and look at. He's locking up all pros. He's locking up some of the best players in all of the NFL, or at least making the decisions.
He didn't sign. He drafted these guys.
Dang, man. That's where it gets tough, because can he do it again then?
But this is where
who's to say he can't?
This is where
but that's where it's like, do you splash
his
out
greatest,
if you could do it again?
Yeah, that is his greatest ability, is finding talent in the draft, bro.
That's fair, but this is where I have to go back to what I would have done if I were Brad Holmes. I know people are going to tune out already. This is why you're not Brad Holmes, yada yada yada. I think in the totality of the offseason, what would make me personally more comfortable about a Kerby Joseph deal, what I would have done is, you all know, I would have let Derek Barnes walk. I would have brought in Devin Bush. He got 3.2 with the Cleveland Browns, but hey, what do I know? And I probably would have just done the Kerby Joseph deal and offered 1 at 6 to Azeez Ojulari. I'm not saying that that's perfect. I'm not saying that Ojulari or Devin Bush would have even came here, but they're Azeez Ojulari and Devin Bush for a reason. I think if you would have offered them enough, they would have.
Yeah.
Again, Brad Holmes did what Brad Holmes does. We're now in a situation where 4 at 93 is a little bit iffy, no pun intended. But
maybe you just didn't view those guys as fits. That's fair. It is what it is, because they cheap, yes, but do they really fit what the Lions want to do? Probably not.
Maybe.
Super Bowl Cartier, and I'm sure that there's no bias here. Super Bowl. He says pay Kerby $18 million per year for 4 years right now.
I don't think that that's going to happen, because his value is the highest that it's ever been. I mean, he just came off of a first-team All-Pro season.
He's getting at 20.
If you can get him at 4 years, 18, if you're Brad Holmes, call up your wife, give her the best 2 minutes of your life, because you are definitely in the mood when you hear that, and sign him immediately. 4 years at 72, I would give anything for that. But the reason why I say that is because there is no chance.
Exactly.
Kerby Joseph is a first-team All-Pro safety.
We can't be scared, about the money aspect of this. Like, we gotta have a line, and I'm pretty sure Brad Holmes has a line that he's willing to not go past. But you can't be scared in terms of extending your guys, and we do have to keep in consideration the cap is going up seemingly every year at this point too. So I do feel like the money will be there for everybody that's like, oh, we can't keep everybody. You can, maybe, as long as you don't lock yourself into bad contracts.
And you said it, the cap goes up every year. How much did it jump this year?
Was it like
20 million?
I think it was 20 million.
20 million? Dog. So it could jump up another 15 to 20 million and literally cover
and last
one of
time I
his
checked,
years.
NFL ain't going nowhere. So last time I checked.
Kirby. You got it. He's getting the 20 AAV. You hear these safeties talking right now in the media. I feel like he's going to be that 20 AAV safety. The players, the Players Association, you think about what that safeties room is thinking about across the NFL. He gets the opportunity to move that needle up just a little bit more, especially when you're talking about the positions. And if some of these players wind up getting franchise tagged, the higher he pushes that AAV for safeties, the better it looks for all of them in contract negotiations or at their franchise tag.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly a good problem to have. I will say that because Kerby Joseph has well outperformed, I think, any of our expectations, especially when he was drafted as a third-round pick. But the only thing is, we're seeing right now, how is Brad Holmes going to manage re-signing his own guys and being under the cap versus free agents and all that jazz. So far, he's made some re-signings that I think have been nice, like Amon-Ra St. Brown and Penei Sewell, Lee McNeil, Jared Goff. He's got a lot more, though.
Yeah.
A lot more.
Hey, let's rock. Oh, the legend is on the line?
The legend is on the line. And before we go to break, got to shout out to Super Chat before we get into it with Rod.
Get those Super Chats in.
$5 from Burn. He said, this was at when we came back from break. I won't hear Don Kelly slander. That man was so good at hitting fly balls. Jim had him pinch hit for a sack walk-off in a playoff game.
Great.
Flannel is sick, dog.
Stop that. Let that hate out your heart, Flannel. Let that hate out your heart, man. Sorry.
He's trying.
He not.
How do you feel about Prince Fielder? How do any of you who nut themselves over Don Kelly's name feel about Prince Fielder? How you answer that question will let me know your IQ level.
Are you saying people can't?
And Rod answers that, I'm gonna be cracking up.
Right. Are you saying people can't like both? Sam?
You can like both. You better like both. If you like Don Kelly, you better like Prince Fielder, because the rep that Prince Fielder has gotten here since he's left is disgraceful. He was damn good.
I do agree with that. I do agree with that.
I stand Prince Fielder.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Cecil.
He was one of my favorite players at one point.
Hey, you know what? Talking about the Detroit Tigers. Detroit, get ready. Tigers opening day is here on April 4th. Join Woodward Sports for the biggest and best party in the D. You guys want to be there right in the middle of the action. The Grand Slam Festival is an outdoor tent party at the Detroit Opera House. The broadcast is brought to you by Jars Cannabis, Mad Packs, and White Claw. So you guys already know we're going to get at least White Claw flannel. And it's a vibe. If you remember last year, I think flannel and the heavyweights set a new record, man. So you guys want to be tapped in. Drinks will be flowing, smoke clouds will rise, and the party won't stop. WSN broadcast will go all day long, so don't miss out. Get your tickets today at GrandSlamDetroit.com. Woodward Sports opening day, brought to you by Jars Cannabis, Mad Packs, and White Claw.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in the clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Listen, I'm not sure who, but somebody let the Tigers get hot.
The Detroit Tigers are locked and loaded for another great summer in Detroit. And it all starts downtown at the biggest home opener party in the city. Join Woodward Sports at Grand Slam Festival as we take over the Detroit Opera House parking lot. A big-ass tent for a big-ass Detroit party. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFestival.com or follow Woodward Sports on X and IG for your chance to get in for free. Party across from Comerica Park and hear the roar as the Tigers take the field for the first time in 2025. DJs, food trucks, bartenders, live broadcasts, and more. See you for the Tigers' first home game of the season, April 4th at the Grand Slam Festival with Detroit's biggest party animals, Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Hey, it's Planet Fitness. Fitness that fits your budget. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, friendly, knowledgeable staff, and a totally judgment-free atmosphere. Did you know that all Planet Fitness memberships include fitness training for no extra cost? Want all the perks? Upgrade to the PF Black Card and enjoy use of amenities such as unlimited use of the Black Card Spa featuring hydro massage, massage chairs, and total body enhancement and more, along with access to over 2,500 locations worldwide and unlimited guest privileges. For more information or to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness or planetfitness.com.
Oh, man. It's some flannel bots in the chat now. Some flannel bros.
Really?
I got some flannel bros. Hey, look. Big Dan Davis says, I forgot Don Kelly was even a Detroit Tiger back in the day. Completely forgot about him until y'all reminded me of him today. Don Kelly wasn't very good, LOL.
Yes.
I think we found...
He did. Go ahead, Chase.
I did not like Don Kelly. I'm with Sam. I'm on that ship with him. I'll be his first mate on the Don Kelly hate express. Whatever you want to. Hey, I'll start playing the violin, baby. I don't care. I'll go down with that ship. I do not like Don Kelly.
I am curious too, man. Hey, look, if we got any flannel bros or flannel bots in the chat, make yourselves known, man.
Right, where the flannel supporters at?
I want to see it.
We see the flannel hate all the time. Where the supporters at?
And if you guys, if I may, before we get to the legend Rod Beard, in Don Kelly's Tiger career, 234 batting average, 297 on base percentage, 637 OPS. His career high in home runs is 9. His career high in RBIs is 28.
Oh, beautiful.
Bum.
I'm sorry for the strays this morning, Don Kelly.
I am not sorry. Like him appropriately, Tigers fans. That's all I ask. Like him appropriately.
You know we don't do that here. You know we don't, bro. And that's what's funny about it. Like one day, we're going to have a segment where you have a big mock where you reveal your top 10 Detroit role players of all time.
Well, apparently I hate them all, so I have a top 0 according to the chat, but no, that would be fun. I'm down.
This is appropriate, and I like this super chat here as we transition over to the legend. Dante151 with the $9.99 super chat says, so the highest paid safety in the league is Antoine Winfield Jr., Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of the fame, Jahmyr Gibbs tossing him through the end zone. Still one of my most favorite plays.
Yeah.
But he gets $21.03 million per year. So I wouldn't be surprised if Kerby gets 21.5 per year. I feel like that amount might go up, but if you get those years extended, I'm even more okay with it. But he puts in all caps. So you people need to stop. I think we need to ask the legend about it.
The only thing I will say about that is Antoine Winfield Jr. was at a higher level for longer before he got that. And I'm not saying that Kerby wasn't the best in the world last year. I'm just saying that I think there's a world in which Kerby Joseph's AAV is less than Antoine Winfield Jr.'s is, and I think that it would be justified. I personally would go 20 million AAV, but Spot Track does not agree with me. But what Rod Beard thinks.
Yeah, let's get the legend Rod Beard on, sports editor-in-chief, Detroit News, great professional, and somehow even better human. What up, though, Rod Beard, the legend? Man, we got to ask you. Oh, got the Wayne State repping, man. The Wayne State repping.
Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Happy Wednesday, brother. As always, it's great to have you on the show. And we're here talking about a lot of different things, man. Role players, and Pat O'Connor.
I heard Don Kelly. I heard Don Kelly. That's all I know.
And Don Kelly, baby. You know how we are in the state of Michigan. We love our role players, but we got a star player right now in Kerby Joseph, who there's some decisions, that are going to have to be made on these players. When you draft as well as Brad Holmes has, you're going to have to figure out who's going to get the bag and who's going to get the boot. With the Kerby Joseph, this is one where I think everybody's in kumbaya. You want him back. But what is that number? And is it imperative for the Lions to kind of strike early with an extension with Kerby Joseph, similar to what they did with Amon-Ra and Panay?
With any extension that you're talking about, do it early. Do it early, get it done, because the numbers are going to go up every year that you don't. And if you wanted to do Aiden Hutchinson, I would have run to him with pen and paper and said, here's a number. Do it now. We don't need to see what this year looks like coming off an injury. And I know that's the concern for some people. Do the number now because it's going to be much bigger next year.
I was going to ask this, Rod, about the Kerby Joseph re-signing. So the highest paid safety according to AAV right now is Antoine Winfield Jr. at $21 million a year. Would you, if you were a GM, I'll call you a Rod Holmes, would you make Kerby Joseph the highest paid safety in the NFL according to average annual value?
Ooh. It depends on what I can do with the defensive line. If I can get Trey Hendrickson, then I can bend a little bit on safety, and I don't have to pay for it now. But you're in your window now where you have to win a Super Bowl. You're in it in the next 3 years. So if you blow your entire cap on the guys now, when your big guys come up in the next couple of years, you won't have that money left, or you're going to have to do the Chiefs deal and just restructure everybody and just kick the can a little bit more. But you're in your window. You're very clearly in that window now, and you have to do whatever you can to get to the Super Bowl and to hopefully win one.
Absolutely.
Spitting.
Absolutely. And I said something similar about the Trey Hendrickson if for some reason they're able to make that trade and extend him. I think that makes Kerby Joseph a little bit more expendable, but other than that, as it stands right now, I think paying Kerby Joseph is the right move. But Rod, while obviously, Brad Holmes has made a lot of great draft picks, which means that a lot of guys are going to need to be re-signed, which is going to be it's going to hurt on the cap, of course. What is your confidence level that in this year's draft that Brad Holmes can get at least one player who contributes at a high level this season on a team that is right smack dab in the middle of the Super Bowl window?
Oh, absolutely. I'm high in that regard, that I think he can go and find maybe a couple of players in this draft. And he's shown it with his track record that he can find the talent, identify the talent, and develop the talent are the two key pieces of that. He can do it. Some people might look at this draft and say, oh, well, why is he picking that dude? It's because of depth. It's looking at a couple of years down the road when you can't pay this person or that person, who the heir apparent is going to be and which direction do you go after that. This may not be filling your depth, your issues right now with your roster. You might not get an edge rusher. You might not get a tight end. But somewhere down the road, you're going to have to pay all of these guys. And that's the key. If people want to worry about something, it was paying all of these guys at the same time and getting them under contract. And that gives you a little bit of wiggle room. But next year, the year after, you're going to have to start making some decisions about what you do. But drafting is going to be the biggest piece and getting some replacements there.
And Rod, just to take it over to March Madness, I wanted to ask you actually two questions. One, Michigan being ranked a 5th seed by the selection committee after winning the Big Ten tournament. Wanted to get your thoughts on that and just overall thoughts on Michigan State and Michigan going into the actual tournament, the NCAA tournament.
Well, it shows you that the Big Ten tournament really doesn't matter. And I read something, I think it was on Twitter, where someone said, hey, the selection committee went to dinner on Friday and then just kind of tapped out after that. They didn't do anything else. They made some contingency plans and just said, hey, if Michigan wins, whatever, 5 seed, and pass me the Worcestershire sauce. That was it. I mean, why do you win the Big Ten tournament and you get a lower seed than the people that you beat and that you had beat during the regular season too? It doesn't make sense that, and the selection committee chair said Michigan improved their seeding winning the Big Ten tournament. So that meant they were a 6 seed or a 7 seed or worse to move up to a 5 seed. I can hear that Michigan isn't a perfect team. We're not talking about them being a 2 seed, but we are talking about them being a 5 seed. So if you switched Michigan and Wisconsin, would it have made a little bit more sense? Yeah, but maybe Wisconsin's not a 5 seed either. I think what the biggest issue with this is the SEC and the SEC with so many teams, 14 teams you had to put around the bracket. It made things harder so that you had to put certain people somewhere in other places. And I think that may be the way that they started putting the bracket together was let's place these SEC teams. Now let's put everybody else in. And they didn't count on Michigan winning the Big Ten tournament. I don't think many non-fans did either. So that's where you kind of ended up. But just in general, I think Michigan State is where they should be. They have a good chance to make it to the Final Four. A lot of people are picking them for the Final Four. So you if everything goes to seeding, then State of Michigan gets 2 cracks at Auburn, where Michigan would play them, and then Michigan State would get them in the next round.
Speaking of the SEC, before I ask my question, I just got to rant for a second. The fact that Kentucky got a 3 seed with 11 losses and 8 conference losses is disgusting to me. It makes me want to vomit. But that's not my question. My question is even though Michigan winning the Big Ten tournament at least seemingly didn't help them in terms of NCAA tournament seeding, how big of a deal was it for them to win 3 consecutive games against 3 good teams after finishing the regular season very poorly?
I think it was important for their guards to play well, and Trey Donaldson and LJ Kason, those guys needed to show that they could do it in a big-time atmosphere. And obviously we saw that Trey Donaldson played to win that game. But it was the 3-point. It was what happens when Wolf and Golden don't do everything for you? Who else can you count on? And I think a couple of guys raised their hand, and you could see that they could handle part of the game for you. So that's important. The defense was good too, but I think it's just going to be you need to do that in the tournament, and you're going to have to do it game after game after game. They did it for 3 straight days. Can they do it over this weekend and get to the Sweet 16? That's going to be the question.
Man, Rod, you are cooking up right now. And I got to ask you one question, because we're right around the corner from opening day for the Detroit Tigers as well. And, before the injuries and before some of the players that we were expecting to kind of take a little bit of a leap forward, now all of a sudden it seems like some of those players are going to start not on the opening day roster. What is the overall feel and temperature of the Detroit Tigers as this season is just a few weeks away?
You got to mix and match. You're just going to have to do that, and we saw that with even Jace Young going down to AAA. Is that they're making some tough decisions on the infielders, especially in trying to figure out where you're going to put people. And if you've got torque in the outfield, and you have guys that are moving around all the bases, it's going to be an experiment in some cases. And as we've talked about before, you can't have a slow start to the season, and the Dodgers are having a really nice start to their season so far. You want to get out there and win a couple of games, especially for the home crowd. You want to start winning a few games and showing that this is going to be okay until Sweeney and some of these other guys can get back.
Yeah, and we got another segment with the legend Rod Beard on the way with those Detroit Pistons, and they got a good chance to make some noise as this season. Rod, it just has a few games left to go, and the Detroit Pistons have them in a good position to finish above 500, finish solidly in a playoff spot, and they've been making some noise, man. At the press conference podium, on the floor with the referees, in the win column this year. On the table? Hey, the piece of paper balled up and thrown at the mic. Bro, that's theater. That's theater, man. You can't even fake that. But we're going to talk about these Pistons because the passion has returned and the fans have seen it. Even so much so, Rod, we used to look back in the day and be like, no, don't jump off the boat because they've lost 1 game worth 10 games or 28 games. Now fans are telling other people, don't jump off the boat if they lost a game or 2. They believe in the makeup and the foundation of this team. And can't wait to talk about these Pistons on the other side of the break. And we do got Swisher break on the way. We do. Let's rock. I think we got to hear about merch.
Yes.
Hey, people, remember, we hit that chat goal today, the super chat goal. The first one, we got a merch giveaway for you all. Tell them about some of that merch, JBSmooovv.
Oh, definitely. And we are close to that, our first merch goal giveaway as well, too. About $25 away. But merch, head over to woodwardsports.com, click on that shop tab. New designs for you every single week. But I got to tell you about the ones up on screen. The LFG Red Wings t-shirts and hoodies out right now. And you can't forget about those Woodward Tigers as well, too. Like Kool-Aid said, opening day is just around the corner. And you need to be decked out at Comerica Park with some Woodward Tigers gear as well, too. Especially when you're hanging around with us at the tent parties as well. Head over to woodwardsports.com. All you got to do is click on that shop tab.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Woodward Sports is at it again, giving away more cash and prizes than anyone in Detroit. Get into our March Bracket Challenge, powered by Jug and Nathan Neurosurgery. If you have the biggest basketball brain and get first place, you win $1,000 cold hard cash. But it doesn't stop there. Second place gets a weekend at Grand Traverse Resort in Traverse City, including brunch at Airy and golf. Third place, 2 club seats to see the Pistons versus Bucks with food and drinks courtesy of RHB Laboratories in Troy. You can pre-register now at woodwardsportsbracket.com. That's woodwardsportsbracket.com. Then, after Selection Sunday, fill out your bracket for your chance at $1,000 in cash, money, and more. Pick by mascot, choose by team colors, have your dog pick. No matter how you do it, go to woodwardsportsbracket.com right now and register. All powered by the best in the game, Chuck and Nathan Neurosurgery and Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
All right, Woodward sports fans, whether you're hitting the game or just simply chilling at home, Jars Cannabis has you covered. It's home to Michigan's largest line of recreational cannabis products, 27 locations across the state, 9 alone in Metro Detroit. So there's always one right around the corner from you. And don't fear, because if you live in Grand Rapids, Madison Heights, or Milan, Michigan, stores are popping up very, very soon. If you don't have time to go in store, you can always check out their products online at jarscannabis.com. Because you know what? I know you want to get high.
What up, though, people? Welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward, and we appreciate you, chat family, for kicking off the day with the WUW Crew. Hopefully, everything is going well with the start of your morning, and I know with ours it is, and it's because of the support that you guys are throwing. If you get a chance to, go ahead and smash that like button for us. And
big shout out to Real K77. Sending in a $19.99 super chat.
Hey, shout out.
Yeah, shout out to you. He says, hey, fellas, I don't do it for the prize. I do it for my guys. Big ups to the WUW Crew. Shout out to you, my guy.
Hey, K, you need to come out to opening day again, because we met him last year at the opening day party,
Real
man.
K77, did he get a pass then, or did he buy the tickets?
I can't remember. I think he bought tickets, but he ended up coming, saying what up to us, and I got to talk to him for an extended period.
Start keeping a little list of people, man.
Yeah, come rock with us, K. Come rock with us again, man.
Thank you, Real K77, man. And, we got to talk about these Detroit Pistons. We're going to get the legend drum rolled in here, but they are a half game back of the Bucks, and they are a full game back of the Pacers, a 4th and 5th seed right now. And they are 5 games ahead of the Atlanta Hawks. And I saw that, saw Eric Vincent of Clutch Points. He was one of the first people to put out there as well that they have 8 games. They win 8 games. They clinch the number 6 seed.
The old magic number.
Magic number.
God,
so,
that's beautiful.
If Atlanta loses as well, that helps us too. So this is going to be an interesting run down the end of the season. But let's get the legend Rob Beard drum rolled in here. Hey, yo! Shout out and welcome to the legend Detroit News Rob Beard. It is the Woodward Pistons segment. We've been doing this for some time, Rob. We've waited for this for some years, man. We got 3 years of run the tape back to prove it. And a lot of the things that we thought were going to be here last year are here this year. And a lot that has to do with it is a coach and the vets. We thought that they had that mix right last year when they cashed out on Amani Williams. But we definitely know that JB Bickerstaff, who's done this before and more recently, and his former team sits as one of the most formidable in the NBA. Well, his current team is really punching its way up the top of the standings, for lack of a better word. So, Rod Beard, take it away with Rod's thoughts.
On Woodward Pistons over the years, we've really put in the time and the effort, and we work hard. And we've been around when the Pistons were a 20-win, 17-win team. But to see them where they are now is a testament to the hard work. But to really see what KG has done to disparage this team.
Damn, right? I just catch it strays like that. Damn.
He going JB on you.
This 51 wins.
That's disparaging. 51 wins.
We won't stand for this.
Rod just walked off. He just walked off.
I didn't know a 51 win prediction was disparaging to the team. I apologize, Rod. Yeah.
That is, oh man, no, this is a day of cinema, man.
Hey, man.
That's for you, my man. That is for you.
I'm sorry, man. I see the future for this team, so excuse me if I got ahead of myself. I'm sorry.
I get it, though, man. I get it. Last year, I had some, I really thought play-in. I really didn't. And to see them, though, there this year, really, they said skip the play-in. And it was crazy to hear them talk about this earlier in the season. And Rod, I talked with them earlier. I said, look, I'm going to set my first prediction at go out there and get the over, get your 30, 31, 32. KG was at the 35 at the time. And I told him, look, guys, if I'm just going to tell you just based off the Kool-Aid in me, I think this team got 40, but we got to start to 30, and we will reassess as we have on this platform at the 20 to 30 game mark. But to see this team go out there and not be satisfied, that's something that JB Bickerstaff has brought to this team, and I think that it's worked so well that the vets have already had this. They got vets that you don't have to teach these guys this. And to see it, Malik Beasley, even after the OKC game, step to the podium to show the yin and yang, the balance. Your coach is going to fight for you. He's going to go out there. We know sometimes the coach has got to do that. We even saw Mike Malone come to Detroit and say, hey, look, I already put the refs on alert. So sometimes your coach has to be that voice that stands up. The players have continued to step to the podium, and I was highlighting Malik Beasley in the last game, saying or against OKC, saying we have to be better. We have to handle our emotions better. There was another level we could have went effectively, and you called out Flannel Sam as well. Isaiah Stewart stepping to the podium as well and taking accountability for losses. We did not play Detroit basketball, was a quote from Isaiah Stewart. So to see this team really take these losses and know that's not who we are anymore, and you see how it's reflecting in this win column for this team with everything that's in front of them. We've been saying for, it feels like 2 months now, that the 6th seed is there. It's in their destiny to control. It's in their hands. And they have continued to not just stay there, but put distance in between them and some of those other teams that we call the all dysfunction teams. And all those squads, I don't know what their future outlook even is. So with the Pistons, as they're approaching this playoffs, it is so much different than when you look at the last 2 times, just because you know this is a foundation that's going to spring forward rather than something where they're right back to the drawing board a year later. So JB Bickerstaff and everything that he's been as like that coach's coach, all you can do at this point in time is hope that this team has the success to push some of these teams. Like I know we're going to have some Swisher Brick questions that kind of go over this, so I won't spoil it. But they have an opportunity to push some of these teams in that first round and play to the level of satisfaction that they have set for themselves. And I'm glad that satisfaction isn't, hey, we won, but we didn't play the right way. Or, and so we're going to be satisfied with that. No, there's been games where they lost. And JB Bickerstaff still stepped up and said, sometimes the team's better than you, but our squad, they played to the level of the standard. So I am grateful for everything that JB Bickerstaff has brought us from a coaching perspective, and the fact that the players, they haven't rested on their laurels, and they've continued to put themselves in position to be that much better.
The first thing that I thought when I saw that the Bickerstaff rant is that Monty would never, never, ever, and I mean,
nope.
Maybe Stan. Not Dwayne, because Dwayne likes his money. He would. You know what? He would. He would toe the line on that. But it is, it's what's needed. That the team is well, and they're trying. And to get to that level of being a respected team and getting those calls, feel like you've earned that because you've won enough games. And it was good for me. It was just a chef's kiss of a rant. If you're a coach, I don't know what the fine is. Has anybody seen the fine yet?
I've been waiting to see aftermath of that for a long time, and I haven't seen fines. I haven't seen any hints of suspensions or anything of that nature yet.
Now, if he doesn't get fined, what does that tell you? That the league is like, my bad. Good, bro. My bad. Okay, all right.
You know what? That would be better than, in my opinion, that would be better than an apology letter.
A little bit.
You know how the Lions used to get those apology letters?
A little bit, man.
If they let them go, because we've seen some of these other big coaches go on some rants, and you're right. I look sometimes like, where's the fine? You don't really see it sometimes. Other times you see it and it's a big fine, but I haven't seen what's going on with JB Bickerstaff yet. That's an interesting.
Because they know it's some BS. That's why.
That's an interesting man.
Fix it by officiating properly, bro. I don't want to hear no apologies, no none of that. That's just me.
KG is hot.
Nah, man, and I do have some statements in Swisher Brick that will kind of, we'll talk about it a little bit. We'll talk about it.
You know what? Let's not belabor it then. Let's get right into it. We got our Swisher Brick, but it's not officially that until look at JB. Until the graphic goes up. Swisher Brick.
That's what I'm doing after work. But I am here right now to bring you Swish or Brick and make sure everybody in the chat put your answers in there. We will try to get to some of those. But first one, the Pistons are a top 3 defensive team in the NBA. Swish or Brick?
The Detroit Pistons right now, and I did send some things to JBSmooovv, but I don't know. I know he's always over there cooking up. But the Detroit Pistons have been the 4th best. They have the 4th best defensive rating right now in all of the NBA for the entire season. 4th best. They're behind the Celtics, the Knicks, the Warriors, and they're just ahead of the Lakers. And the defensive rating right now, since January 1st, and this is via NBA StatMuse, their defensive rating since January 1st has been number 2 in the league. Depending on the metric you look at, it's been number 1. The ones that I look at, they have been number 2, just behind the Celtics. So, Flannel Sam, this Detroit Pistons team has been turning defense to offense. They've been winning games by keeping teams under 100 points more so than we've seen other defensive-minded teams do. What say you? Top 3 defensive team in the NBA.
Numbers don't lie. That's a swish, especially considering I'm judging them in a lot of ways with what they've been since January 1st when they've had this fantastic record where they've really solidified their playoff spot. I'm going to say swish, and you've got a couple of guys on this team, Isaiah Stewart and Asar Thompson, who are playing all NBA defense caliber basketball this whole year, at least when they played. So give me swish.
Good job. And just before we get over to JBSmooovv, you brought up his name. I meant to say this before we got in the Swisher break. Via, Pistons Talk put this out there. Shout out Anthony Colombo. Isaiah Stewart won't be eligible for an all-defensive team this season. Players must play. I feel sick for him. Players must play over 20 minutes in 65 games to be eligible for the all-defensive teams. So despite the fact that he's going out there and, I feel sick, Sam. Despite the fact that he's going out there and smacking, he's not going to necessarily get the recognition.
We kind of knew that, though. We knew that because he's coming off the bench. He's not getting the minutes.
Is what's crazy about it, though.
Yeah, that's crazy. But
I don't mind, if you're going to overlook him because some of the media stuff that, we've seen happen, cool, but he's not even eligible, even though it's clear that he deserves to be in the conversation.
The only thing I will say to that is 20 minutes isn't a lot of minutes. That's all I'll say. That's like a third, a little bit more than a third of the game. So I'm not necessarily beside myself about it. But we all know that on a per game basis, on like a per minute, per 36 basis, there's very few people in the NBA who've impacted the game as much defensively as Isaiah Stewart.
Yep. Hey, JBSmooovv, what say you? Top 3 team defensively in the NBA.
Hey, I told you before JB got on this team that this defense would get better if you hired him. And look at that. The numbers don't lie, as Flannel said. Defense has gotten better. So this is an absolute switch for me. Chase?
I'll say swish as well. I don't have faith in the Knicks. I just think they're a soft team, even though they play well in the regular season. I think come playoff time, when it matters the most, we'll see the Pistons continue to step up, and we'll see New York kind of falter a little bit as one of the teams who are currently above them in the rankings.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat. It's a little split, man. It started off with some swishes that I'm seeing here. Big Dan Davis, Chuck Brewer, Vincent E., Steve-O, baby, G-Money 3-on-3, the real K77, Greg. All of those are swishes. But then Terrell Lamar, Chris Parmalee, I'm seeing some bricks. Greg, I'm seeing a brick there as well.
Yeah.
What about you, KG? Big switch for you?
And it's just crazy seeing where the Pistons came from. I remember when we were a turnstile on defense, like at all aspects.
To see them, bottom, now we're here.
Yeah, man. To see them go from worst to almost first, it's been amazing. And you just look at the stocks that this team provides, and even if you look at the fast break numbers, that kind of dictates to you that they are also a good defensive team because they're so good in transition. So that's a swish.
Absolutely. Rod Beard, what say ye? Detroit Pistons, top 3 team in the NBA in terms of defense.
I will go. The numbers can say it. I will go with the Moet Index, my own eye test. They are. I mean, and when you look at the addition of Dennis Schroeder to give them another defensive closer, I think it just accentuates that a little bit more. And that was the first question after the trade that I asked JB is do you see Schroeder closing games to take some of that pressure off Cade to have to guard their best player and be your scoring closer? And he said, yeah. So I think we're seeing it with Stewart. We're seeing it with Duran's improvement. And we know Holland and Asar. This is a top 3 defensive team.
Hey, let's rock. KG, what we got next?
All right. According to NBA.com, the Pistons aren't in any danger of losing the 6th seed. Swish or brick?
No danger of losing the 6th seed. They're saying it is a lock that the Detroit Pistons, they have their destiny to control in their own hands, and that they're gonna do it. They're 5 games up right now in the Atlanta Hawks, who have played honestly step for step with the Pistons. So as the Pistons have won or lost, that margin has largely stayed at that position. So Flannel Sam, what say ye? Playoff Pistons, no play in, no back in. This team is going to earn at least the 6th seed.
Oh, that's an absolute swish, because what magic number means is that any combination of Pistons wins and Hawks losses and you're in. It would take the Pistons falling on their face and the Hawks getting red hot like 2021 style in order for the Pistons to lose this 6th seed. I suppose the Magic are kind of a threat too, but the Pistons, it is a mortal lock that they're the 6th seed, and at least, at worst.
And I do want to say this. Your Detroit Pistons, with 13 games left in the season, have already clinched postseason. That's wild. That's literally wild to think about. But they have 13 games left, 5 games up. JBSmooovv. It's a feel-good swisher break right here.
This is a feel-good swisher break. This is an absolute swish. Now let's try to work on that 4th seed. You got a couple games. So let's see if we can get there.
You're not satisfied, JB Bickersmooth.
I mean, I'm happy. I'm not satisfied yet, but I'm happy.
What up, Doug Cavassier?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll call it a swish. I don't think that they're gonna fall that hard, and I don't think the Hawks are gonna climb that high. So I think it's pretty easy and safe bet to just lock in the Pistons at the 6th seed at the very least.
Yeah, this is automatic swish. They got 5 games on the Hawks, 6 games on the Magic. I mean, what are we doing here?
Hey, and I'm saying nothing but swishes in the chat. Hey, shout out Rod Beard. What say ye?
How many games are left?
13.
13. How many wins do they have?
38.
So they're going 13-0 because somebody.
You damn right. You damn right.
You won.
They're
going 13-0 to finish.
Let's go.
You goddamn right.
This is a swish. This is never forget.
How does it work out that way on today?
Hey, also never forget, I got notes on you too, Rod. Also never forget, no playoff series win. Remember
that. Rod, look what you started. We got some wallpaper going up over here.
Jalen Duran, their number 2 overall player behind Cade?
Yeah, right now, yes.
Dog.
Right now, yes. All right, we gonna skip past that one. But if you want to be real, we are closer to that prediction than the 51. But if we just being real, but
3-leg parlay.
That one gonna hit though. That one's gonna hit.
3-leg parlay, coach of the year, most improved player, and 6th man.
That one gonna hit. That one gonna hit.
All right.
It's the 6th man of the year one.
That's some other ones. What the other ones?
Yeah. There's no more, Ryan. Stop trying to make more sticky.
Let's go. Wait, look, we got more Swisher Brick questions.
No, we do.
So he might get more sticky notes.
Hey, more sticky notes. If I told you what Brandon said last week, he might get a sticky note. But we gonna leave it.
I said we waiting. We waiting. I'm assessing, and right now they got a chance to actually pass that team. Just saying. But
I know I said I had one statement. I actually got 2, and they tie into each other. So the first one being, the false narratives around the Pistons have resulted in them being officiated poorly. Swish or brick?
Can you say that one more time?
The false narratives around the Pistons have resulted in them being officiated poorly. Swish or brick?
And in terms of the physicality that they play with and,
Yes,
and the reputation they have around the league, JB Bickerstaff has alluded to that reputation. Mike Malone literally came here in a pregame press conference and said, I already let the referees know. We know how the Pistons play. Shout out to them. We're not doing that with the Joker. So there is a reputation out there, and it's interesting now because JB Bickerstaff said he wanted this team to play with grit, and now they share this one identity with the Lions. Other teams are crying about him, man. Hey, but what say ye, Flannel Sam?
I am going to go Swish, but there is another big reason. Yes, the reputation, the fact that they're one of the more physical teams defensively, but also they have that, but another combination in terms of this pie, so to speak, is that they're also the upstart team. They're the upstart team that's not supposed to be doing this so fast, and they're playing more physical. So yes, I think that all contributes to them being officiated more poorly than some teams. I will just say that.
What up, though, JBSmooovv?
I gotta go Swish as well too. Just the same way that Flannel has said. I think the officials see this team on the rise, and they're starting to see those glimpses of that bad boy era kind of emerge right back. So obviously, yeah, they don't want anything popping off, getting anything kind of crazy going on. So now it's like, hey, let's try to, ease their momentum down as much as they can, because they see the rise and the buildup that this team has and that the city has around this team as well too. So Swish for me.
Chase.
What's the question? Sorry.
The false narratives around the Pistons have resulted in them being officiated poorly.
I'm going to say brick. I just think the NBA just doesn't like the Pistons in general. I don't think you need to create a false narrative for them to officiate them poorly. You got Ryan Rockstar laughing too.
That's what it is.
I love
it is definitely a little bit of that. So we'll accept that answer. But overall, yes, this is a Swish.
I'm only seeing swishes from the chat too.
Yeah. No, but I agree with Chase in the fact that the Pistons' history and also how they currently are constructed and how they currently, present themselves on the court is playing a role into how they're being officiated. And we can just go through our history, with the Pistons and the referees. It's never been a seamless relationship with the Pistons or the NBA in general. But yeah, it's weak, man. I really don't like it, and I think it's garbage. I'm so glad that JB Bickerstaff crashed out at the podium, because maybe, we'll start getting a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt. But I mean, you got to just call it like you see it. They are being, they're using their reputation against them. Flat out.
Hey, what say ye, Rod Beard?
All we need to do is go back to the inciting incident. When Lou Dort stepped on somebody else's foot, a teammate's foot, they went to the monitors, the officials to the monitors, to review a hostile act by Isaiah Stewart, who wasn't even close to Lou Dort. He wasn't even there. So they went to the monitor to see that. Cade got pissed at that, and Cade got the tech for saying, like, well, why aren't we lining up? And that's how he got tossed out of that game. So is it impacting what's going on the court? Yes, because the officials are looking for stuff that isn't even there.
Ooh,
that whole sequence, that's why JB is because they thought Isaiah Stewart had done something to Lou Dort because he fell and he was on the ground. Oh, Isaiah Stewart was on the court. It must be something. Let's go review it. He wasn't even in that part of the play. He threw somebody else. In truth, yeah, if you're going to call it on that. But he didn't do anything to Lou Dort. And so, yeah, I think the rep is causing some of this.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that, because that's going to lead into the next statement. But it's some bullshit. Yeah. We got to just call it like we see it. But the next one, off of that one, the Pistons' physicality is creating a rep that could cost them in the long run. Swish or brick?
You know what? We've seen that the NBA, the only way to really stop when the Pistons find the way to play this way, but within the lines, the only way they can stop them is to change the rules. If they don't do that, you're not stopping these Detroit Pistons. They're only going to grow from here, period. And so when we've seen the good Detroit Pistons get to this level where they're starting to annoy and agitate the rest of the league because they're just not going to go with the league's narratives, that's when I say the Pistons are actually about to excel. They're doing it on their own. Whether they're getting calls or not, this team is locked into the 6th seed. They're already doing it. They're already ahead of schedule, not complying or doing it the way that the rest of the league said that they should. You guys remember I was like, Dalton Connect, man. I like Dalton Connect. Ron Holland was still number 9 on the board. We said, look, if he could bring what he's bringing even without the three-point shot, cool. And what do we see? A bunch of players like Asar and like Ron even, who we know that their three-point shot is improving, but they're really doing this thing on the hustle side, the defense side. I'm not scared of anybody's side. The facilitation part of it. We'll fill any role that you ask us to be. These are the things that we've seen out of good Pistons teams, and when they achieve that, the just selflessness, all-out defense, playing for your coach, and being connected as brothers on and off the court, you can't stop that Pistons team. You simply have to change the rules like they did after Bad Boys and going to work. What say you? So I got on my soapbox.
No, you good. So this would be a brick for you, because I said the Pistons' physicality is creating a rep that could cost them in the long run.
I know I'm supposed to make the statement that it's going to cost them, but I think that's going to be after their success.
Okay.
But Flannel, what do you think?
See, I don't think I'm going to go brick. I don't think it's going to cost them, because in the modern NBA, I mean, you still see, and obviously it's like this with all teams, you still see games like the Wizards game, for example, where the Pistons don't necessarily bring it. In this modern era where there's no hand checking and a whatnot, I don't think a level of physicality will cost you down the road in terms of, I don't know, calls in the playoffs or whatnot. So I will say brick.
What up, though? JBSmooovv. What's the reason?
I think I got to side with brick as well, too, only because I see the Pistons kind of toting that line as they are right now. As you said, Kool-Aid, once they start to get that true success, then it's like, then they'll start probably getting games called against them as well, too. Because I could see in the future some games where a Beef Stew gets ejected, a Jalen Duren gets ejected, or hell, even Cade gets ejected, because once again, you're not giving them the call. So it's a brick for right now, but it's soon to be a swish.
I feel that. Kavasi Chase, what up, though?
Hi, I'm clipping right now. What's the question?
Yeah, the Pistons' physicality is creating a rep that could cost them in the long run.
Oh, I disagree. I think physicality is like the way you want to be, and like the physical team is always going to end up winning in the long run. So I think the attitude and the effort that they play with is going to be what eventually pushes this team over the edge. Because I mean, you got to do whatever it takes to win a championship, and I mean, I think this team is definitely showing that they're willing to do whatever it takes.
Dang, I like this conversation. What up,
I'm borderline swish, man, but just because of just how shit is officiated. And Sam, that's kind of where I get hung up. The modern day NBA, this kind of Pistons team in the modern day NBA, it don't seem like it will vibe too well. However, I think they play within the lines. I don't think they're doing anything egregious. And if they can keep up this level of play, I just think the NBA has to catch up to what the Pistons are doing, because you have to bring some type of physicality back to the game, man. It can't just be all defense and high scoring games. You need teams like this in the NBA. So I will say brick, but borderline swish just based on how the NBA operates, but it's a brick.
Rod Beard, what say ye?
I'm going to say brick, because I actually think it's going to help them when they get to the playoffs and they face the Knicks, that they're a little bit more physical with Karl Anthony Towns, with Brunson, with the rest of their team, that they're going to need that. And they figured out how to adjust as they've gone along. Okay, this is how you're calling the game. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So now we get it. Guys have gotten into foul trouble, but not deep foul trouble early in the second half, and that's what you want to see from them. So, yeah, I just say because of the way that it's worded in the playoffs and moving, it's just that swag that now like Isaiah Stewart. Have you seen this clip of Isaiah Stewart talking to Miles Turner saying that you play with Legos?
Yeah. That is great.
So they know how to get in people's heads in other ways besides just being physical. So I think that's going to be it.
Hey, you know what? I see the chat family as well. They agree with a lot of the sentiments that were stated here. Big CP, bingo, Kool-Aid. The Bad Boys and Going to Work Pistons both had the league change the defensive rules on them to limit their effectiveness. And another comment that I really liked here is the Real K77, who shares a sentiment similar to you, Rod. He says that the Pistons are made for the playoffs. That's when the NBA basketball gets physical during those playoffs. Yep. And let me see here. Honolulu BS says, when I saw JB waving his hands to agitate the crowd the other night against OKC, I decided I was all in, and I believe. That was kind of epic. Rod, we for years have kind of looked at the game in between the game, the faces, the sideline antics, and all of that. We brought that to this platform as well down this on Wake Up Woodward, and it's been awesome to follow sideline JB Bickerstaff, and then to hear the players say that gets us fired up. That stuff, it feels like he's out there on the court with us, and we can't let him be more fired up than we are. So, hey, shout out to JB Bickerstaff, to the chat family. Swisher break was epic. Good job, KG.
Appreciate it.
Hey, and good job to the WUW Crew, man. The answers were pretty dope.
Hey, those were some interesting questions, KG. I'll just say that.
I got you.
Hey, any last words from the legend, Rod Beard?
Pistons have let me make sure I got this right, the hardest remaining schedule of any Eastern Conference team by far.
Oh, wow.
Charlotte, they have the 8th toughest schedule. Charlotte is next at 13th. So out of the top 12 toughest remaining schedules, the only Eastern Conference team is the Pistons. So 13 games, they go 4-9. You're at 43. I mean, probably somewhere in the middle. They do have some tough opponents remaining. They got Cleveland, Cleveland, OKC, the Knicks. That might be a dub.
Bucks twice.
Memphis, Bucks twice to finish out the season. So, I mean, handle your business. You got the Pelicans, you got Toronto, you got San Antonio. Handle those and you'll be all right.
Hey, handle your business, Pistons. That's what they've been all season. If they win those games they're favored in, they're going to finish above 500. If they can find a way to squeak out a couple dubs against some of these top teams, it's going to be a truly special season, especially heading into the playoffs. And just one more tidbit here.
They going to finish above 50 wins, man.
No, but...
13-0.
But Rod, if they finish at 43, like you just said, I'm coming in here and crashing out. I'm just gonna be real with you. I'm coming in here and I'm doing a full-blown crash out.
You're coming to crash out anyway.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Can we get one more sticky note up there? Udonis Haslem said he believes that the Pistons can knock off those Knicks in that first round. He believes that he got the Knicks on first round upset watch.
I've said this the whole time, yes. And they are the best matchup for the Pistons, yes. Put it on the sticky note if you want to.
What was the last?
That's big facts. That's a big fact sticky note. That might go on the other wall.
Okay. Hey. There's a good wall and a bad wall? I didn't realize.
I mean, what was the last question about Swisher Brick, about physicality?
It's all on the bad wall.
No, trust me, I know. I keep thinking about that. The physicality in the paint. I know Cat is a player. He's a dog. I'm not.
Man, Cat in the playoffs is different, though. And I already know Sam going to get on this soapbox. Listen, we're not disrespecting him, the player, but he has a track record of being soft in playoff basketball.
That's fair, but...
Is he done? Is he Don Kelly?
No. Okay, now you're putting Karl-Anthony Towns and Don Kelly in the same sentence. People act like Karl-Anthony Towns is going to average 8 points and 4 rebounds on 30% shooting in the playoffs. That's insane. People actually think that he's terrible at basketball. If you read our chat, people, that's why I get so fired up, because Karl-Anthony Towns is a 20-10 machine throughout his career. I understand in the playoffs his numbers do take a dip, but I think he's overhated. Me personally, but
he's dead. He's dead. Don Anthony Towns in the playoffs.
He pulled the flannel.
Don Anthony
Towns.
Carl Anthony Kelly, right? Hey, shout out to the legend Rod Beard, man. This segment has been epic as always. A couple hot segments from the legend. Detroit News Rod Beard. You guys like the stream for the legend, and we're that much closer as well to the merch giveaway. Rod Beard, sports editor-in-chief of the Detroit News. Thank you for your time today, brother.
Appreciate it, gentlemen. Have a good show.
Yeah, hey, thanks, Rod.
Thanks, Rod.
Hey, and I think I got to tell the people about something, or is it you?
You do. Lady James and Dr. Pierce.
Yay. Dope. Got a double dip, man, of Kool-Aid. At
Secret sauce and thick and wet.
Yo.
Shout out to the legend Rod Beard for tapping in too, man.
If you like it nice and hot, they'll come lather you up.
Yeah. Lather you up with secret sauce.
This crew, man.
Come put it on me.
We're so much more alike, despite the differences, and I love it, dog. At Lady James, we take the pride of getting your haircut. Our talented stylists will deliver an industry-leading haircut, a relaxing scalp massage, my favorite, that hot lather neck shave.
Look at the emphasis.
Put it on me.
Come on, man. And that hot towel treatment. It's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady James Haircuts, man. It's wicked awesome. And attention sports fans, which I know all of you all are, don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday during Big D Energy, every Thursday during Ermanni and Edwards, where he's offering top-notch injury advice. Trust the guy that DMAC trusts, because Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsAndSpine.com or call 248-426-9944.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You know, you guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won. We got Tully, everybody. This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Are you okay?
Buddy's Pizza.
Buddy's Pizza has been serving the original Detroit-style pizza since 1946, and 79 years later, they have 22 locations in the state of Michigan. And fans can still visit where it all began on the corner of 6 Mile and Conant. Sign up for Buddy's Rewards to earn points on every purchase and receive exclusive promotions. Download the Buddy's Pizza mobile app and start earning today. Add some Detroit style to your next meal. Save 10% off your entire order using promo code 10MEAL. That is the number 10MEAL. Buddy'sPizza.com.
And Les Stanford.
Les Stanford Buick and GMC has great offers for everyone. Get a 2024 Envision AVE NIR for only $299 per month. Or try out the 2025 Sierra Crew Cab Elevation for only $229 per month. Don't forget about the 2025 Hummer EV SUV for only $799 per month. Get to Les Stanford today and check out their massive inventory. Les Stanford Buick and GMC, lesstanford.com.
Hey, we got a legend in the chat right now. We got a Korea Pistons fan on X and I believe IG.
Yeah.
Tom Herr is in the chat.
Shout out.
I'm so happy that the Pistons have honored him this year as a part of their initiative and their drive to expand not just basketball, but Pistons as well. Thank you for being in the chat, for supporting us. I know we're supposed to have Tom on. We're working on to get Tom on the show as well. He's holding it down out there in Korea. And I know he's getting married. His wife did accept his request to have the final countdown played at their wedding. So he talked about an international Pistons fan who's holding it down. It's epic. And when he came to Detroit for the first time, he had the Buddy's Pizza and loved it. We got the interview with him that's still up on our socials and on our network. And I just wanted to shout you out. Thank you, Tom, for the support, brother. Thank you. And I know we got everybody's favorite segment on the way. That's what's trending with JBSmooovv. But did y'all see his video when he was walking around Korea streets drunk and shouting Detroit basketball?
No, I didn't.
It went viral. Like every big network picked it up, dog. Even Sticks sent it like, yo, I love this guy. I was like, we've had him on the network. Shout out to Tom.
Yeah, big shout out. Hey. Real quick before we get into what's trending, shout out to Big Dan Davis in the chat. He threw this news in there. I went and verified it. According to Tom Pelissero, the Vikings are moving forward with J.J. McCarthy as their quarterback. So all the people worried about Aaron Rodgers, they out on Aaron Rodgers now. So it appears maybe he's going to the Steelers. That's the word on the street right now. But yeah, we shall see. But J.J. McCarthy is going to be the starting quarterback for the Vikings.
J.J. McCarthy
down the sideline.
I like that one.
Prepare for 50 handoffs.
Come on.
And just remember, we have to root for him to have 0 touchdowns and 35 interceptions and simultaneously suffer a career-ending injury in his first season, or else we are not real fans. We are just Michigan slappies disguising ourselves. Those are the rules. I didn't make them up.
JB over there sound like a generational hater.
I wonder who did make them up.
You were told.
JB sounded like a Sparty fan when he said 50 straight handoffs.
Hey, that 49-0 win against State, JJ balled out. I think Colston Loveland caught another one.
I mean, if the handoffs get the job done, hey, congratulations to the Vikings.
Let's spark up word to George, bro.
Let's do it.
Now it's time for the most electrifying segment on the internet. Bum, bum, bum. It's What's Trending with JB. Live on Wake Up Woodward.
Fresh off crashing out at the podium is JBSmooovv.
Let's ride.
What's going on, chat family? What's going on, fellas? Once again, disclaimer. I don't know if any of these people are going to be okay in this video.
No.
Just putting it out there ahead of time.
Tough people in training?
Well, some more tough people
TGTs.
in training. But I got to give you this news first because the Ball family is on the cover of this month's Slam magazine. So shouts out to them as well, too. And one Mr. Lonzo Ball is making headlines as he is releasing a 116-ounce drinkable basketball with Buzz Ball.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you guys know what Buzz Ball is.
I do, but I've never touched them in my fucking life. Like, I don't see how people drink them things, dog.
Some people say they're pretty good. I haven't had many myself, so I don't really know. But it is a berry cherry limeade flavor, and it is 17 regular Buzz Balls in one drink. So there you go.
I just asked, I was like, bro, you confused too? He was like, yeah.
What is this?
What is this? Yeah.
They're little like alcoholic beverages. You can get them in most stores. But the fact is, I've never seen anybody actually physically drink one of these drinks. So
116-ounce. So does that mean you're just dead after drinking one of those?
I mean, it could be. They normally pretty small, but yeah. Now
you're making a basketball life-size one. That's kind of weird.
Hey,
if you're gonna do that, just go get a limerita from the liquor store and call it a day. Like if you're gonna drink the Buzz Ball.
It's just the name. I get it, Buzz Ball because it's one singular, but you put the extra Z on there for Buzz Balls.
Yeah,
I'm not guzzling that. Sorry,
you're not guzzling that.
Not at all.
I hope not.
Not at all.
But shout out to them.
Big also, Buzz Balls.
Shout out to LeVar Ball, who had successful surgery on his foot.
Yeah.
You know, he had diabetes. Yeah, complications, end up losing his foot. But prayers to him, man. He looks like he's doing well. So
I have never in my life changed my tune when it comes to any human being more than LeVar Ball. When he first came out, I thought he was a bit of a blowhard.
Of course.
But now it's like
he was right.
Well, people. Oh boy, I'm about to make some people really mad.
Oh boy.
People lose their ever-loving mind over Wanda Durant, the real MVP. But LeVar Ball.
Katie Mama catching the string.
Hey, but hey, LeVar Ball actually,
Jesus
had his sons in a 2-parent household, and all of them thrived. Shout out LeVar Ball.
Just throw the hood on him.
Shout out Lonzo. shout out LiAngelo, and shout out LaMelo. LeVar Ball was right.
Former Pistons legend LiAngelo, right?
LeVar Ball was right.
He might have lost us in that playoff game, though. He might have in that Lions playoff game. If he had to did the song, I mean, Cameron might have been right. But
damn,
that's tough.
Once again, shout out to the Ball family. This next one, you guys let me know. Is this an out for you, or are they safe? I don't really know.
Oh,
is that an out?
Yeah, you out off the strength. Just off the strength that my face hurt now. You out.
Oh my God.
Why is she sitting there without a mask?
Take a fucking walk.
I'm assuming this was like a parents softball league or something. I don't know.
It's so crazy. Nobody rushes over, and all you hear is just a quadri of ooh, ooh,
right.
Ooh. She must be the parent that they were like, yep, she had that coming.
Yep, that's what Karen gets.
Nobody cares. That's the one thing about these videos. Nobody be caring, bro.
Even if you're playing softball, you should probably have a mask on. Just saying.
Yeah, that's probably.
Wait, does the person behind her have on a face mask? Look at the camera, like when it zooms.
They're behind the fence.
Oh, they're behind.
Behind the
got
fence.
you, got you. You gotta have on a face mask. Are you okay?
Nope, none of that. None of that. Are you okay? But just know, coming in hot with this one.
Oh, not the scooter.
Oh!
It's not the impact, it's the drag. Look at how
Did y'all play? Did y'all ever play Saints Row? That's literally how they fall and slide, dog.
That's like when you get like rubber windshield in GTA.
It's the slide.
It's the slide, dog.
The life, like the motionless, the lifeless slide.
This is how people used to die on GTA 5.
Yeah, 100%. You fly out the windshield.
Yeah. Wasted. Jesus Christ.
They used to drive off cliffs and just jump out. And you
he
land
was-
and hit like that.
He was like face first, too. That's a nasty scrape, dog. Oh, my God. You just left a lot of skin on the pavement. That's tough.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Two-Face right there.
God, yeah, that shit.
That's tough.
It's rough. And finally,
Crazy.
I will end what's trending with this because shout out to our sponsor here of the studio, Planet Fitness. You know what? They never go up on your fees or anything like that. Unlike some other gyms where, you know, you might have to start doing this.
Snuck his own weights in.
Oh my.
Nope. I'm working out at home.
Right. Just take one weight at a time.
Forever be working out at home. Nope. You raising my fee up? Not happening.
There's a book on Amazon. I believe it's $12.99. It's called The Movement, and it is how one man, Jack Garbarino, lost over 200 or 300 pounds moving nothing but furniture around their home. You can actually check out the episode on Nathan For You, also the same company that made the show that where this jacket comes from, Summit Ice, Deny Nothing. But yeah, you don't even need to go to a gym. You can lose weight just by moving furniture around your apartment.
Hey,
being active.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, man, I respect that from Chase GPT. I know it's your personal journey as well as relates to health, physical fitness.
Yeah, I used to be a little
getting
fat.
out
I got a picture on the top 5 later of me looking a little big. So,
And,
you know,
Hey,
I
don't go pull my videos from the beginning of Woodward Sports. I feel you, brother. I respect your journey.
People don't realize, though, that when you have that much to lose, like 200 pounds, just the slightest bit of activity sometimes makes a huge difference.
Oh,
in terms of
that's
like
true.
getting you started.
Yeah.
That is very true. But that's it for what's trending, you guys. Let's hop into some mailbag and shout out our sponsor before we get out of here.
Hey, let's rock.
Absolutely.
Get those mailbag questions in. Gonna definitely get to some of the best ones.
Hey, you got Mark White, of course.
Mark White, I'll tell him about the bracket challenge, and then Feldman.
Hey, dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White & Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesells.com. Again, call Mark White today at 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
And what's going on?
No, you got another one.
Yeah. I was going to say the tournament is almost here, and WSN is giving away more cash and prizes than anyone in Detroit. Get into our March bracket challenge powered by Jugganathan Neurosurgery. You come in first. That is $1,000 of cold hard cash money. Second place, the prize is still going on, a weekend at Grand Traverse Resort in Traverse City, including brunch at Erie and golf. And even if you come in third, you still get 2 club seats to the Pistons versus the Bucks with food and drinks courtesy of RHB Laboratories out in Troy. You can go on and even register right now. Selection Sunday has already happened, so hopefully you have someone in mind who you think is going to go all the way. Go to WoodwardSportsBracket.com right now and register. All powered by the best in the game, Jugganathan Neurosurgery and Woodward Sports. And please stop asking me, no, they don't do boobs, okay? Flannel, I believe you got one more as well, too.
Hey, Feldman Chevrolet of Novi, Detroit's #1 Chevrolet dealer and the Chevrolet dealer of the year for 6 consecutive years. They got deals of the month. You can get a 2025 Chevy Silverado 1500 Crew Cab for just $199 a month. You can also get a 2025 Chevy Equinox for only $249 a month. Come see George Hawes and his team at Feldman Chevrolet of Novi.
Hey, and what up, though, people? It is time for the Wake Up Woodward Feldman Mailbag segment. And here's one, Steve-O Baby. This is for our booth boys. I'm going to need you guys' review of this. Feldman Mailbag, KG, JB, who cuts a better heel promo, Sam Flannel or John Cena? Because Sam's been cutting these promos, man, and I love it.
I almost got to go Flannel Sam.
It's an epic,
too. Yeah, but I will reserve my thoughts on the John Cena promo for Woodward ringside. I already told JB that yesterday. I may have a different opinion from most people, but yeah, Cena's a heel now.
Cena's a heel now, although I don't know. Flannel kind of gives a heel promo as well too, so I might have to go with Flannel on this one. But yes, we are reserving our thoughts about John Cena for Woodward ringside. I don't know, KJ. I think you and me might have different thoughts on this John Cena promo.
No, we might. I'm looking forward to hear what you got to say about it. But Sam kind of like that Drew McIntyre kind of heel. Like he got reasons for why he acts the way he does, but the people they not vibing with it, bro. Like you are forever a heel, man. I'm sorry.
That is well said, KG.
Yeah.
Oh man, and you know what? Chin Virus, I see you.
Shout out.
Let me read this first. No, I cannot. Oh my God.
Read it.
I'm not reading. Nope.
Read it.
Find his chat. I'm not reading it, though. It's
I'll
funny,
read it.
though.
All right,
Who is it?
Where is it?
Big Dan Chinavirus. Big Dan Davis, Mailbag. Do you guys think that the Lions will trade up for an edge in next month's drafts? How far do you see them moving up? That's something I've been for. If you believe that there is an impact guy. Y'all just got the
Chinavirus. You wild,
We will not be reading that.
No,
Go
but
Beavers.
I do.
Respect the Beaver, love the Beaver, honor the Beaver. We've showed love to the Beaver on this show.
We support the Beaver. There would be no Beaver slander on this show.
Hey, shout out Troy, Michigan, Big Beaver Road.
Hey, exit 69,
Yeah.
ironically.
Hey, for no reason. There's no reason that it's at 669.
I need one of those jerseys, by the way.
But trade up. I feel like this is going to be a segment probably mid-April, but yeah, he's done it for Terrion Arnold. He's done it for Jamison Williams. Who say he won't do it again?
Hey, who says he won't? What about you, KG?
No, I've been preaching that. He's going to do an overhaul at the edge position in the draft like he did last year.
Here's Randall Smalls. When Brad trades up in the first round, he will package this year's and next year's first. How far up and for who? Which is effectively a similar thing. I think people are really, really, really looking for that stud, that next great pass rusher to book in with Aiden Hutchinson, which I know a lot of us wanted. I'm still holding out a little bit of hope for trade deadline Trey Hendrickson. But what say you, brother?
God, I'll be honest, Rando Smalls, I'm just not there yet. I'll just be real. Just not there. It's still over a month away, but we'll definitely be cranking up the draft coverage as it gets closer.
And one more question here. I think this is very, very important. Big Dan Davis, Mailbag. When does Woodward ringside start? What time? This is the first I'm hearing of this. I want to tune in and watch. And for all of our other bonus content, it's being converted to weekend content. So you can catch Woodward Wings every Saturday at what time, Final Sam?
10 a.m.
Hey, and they're crushing it. He and that dude Justin and our Woodward ringside guys, you guys content. And it's for everybody now. It's not just for members, but it's for everybody. What time is you guys' slot?
JB, do you know?
Usually I drop them after Big D Energy, so it's like 1:15. So it gives people a little breathing room, but then like boom, we're right back at the content on Fridays,
right?
Yep, Fridays.
Fridays, okay. All right, so you guys stay tapped in with them. It's a lot of good content. They're covering everything as it relates to the fighting world, from boxing to wrestling to MMA. And I know they're also going to get guests and other people involved. Some of our chat family has even contributed, like the great Freddie Felt. So shout out to you guys. Is there something else?
I'll read this super chat from Burn. He sent in $5. He said, imagine heel Sam just walking into New York and Cleveland telling them why their folk heroes suck and they should worship winners like IC champ Sam.
Oh my God.
Wait, that puts us over the goal, don't it?
I believe so. I believe that puts us over the goal.
Hey, select the winner before we close up, man, because I see it's Jesse time over there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let's go with the Real K77, my guy.
Hey, Real K77, email me, Kool-Aid at woodwardsports.com. Kool-Aid at woodwardsports.com. If you do hit me on socials, it might delay it just a little, But if you hit me on email, it allows us to process a little bit faster. So shout out to you, RealK77, and the chat family for supporting us and helping us reach our goal today. Like we said, we're trying to get to Vegas, but that first 50, that's what goes to help bolster our crew. And then everything else above that, it goes towards the Vegas trip. And so we appreciate you all. And I'm glad that we're able to at least incentivize, a few of you all every single day that we reach this goal. And I'm telling you, when those passes come, get your passes now if you can't wait. But we will try to make sure that a few of you get some of those opening day Tigers passes too. But any last words, brother?
Hey, I will think of some New York and Cleveland folk heroes to discredit soon. Got a couple in mind, but yeah, that's another question for another day.
And I am very curious of your top 10 role players in Detroit sports history. That would be dope.
I'm not even trying to troll. I don't know if I have 10.
Oh, God.
Is it more or less?
That's a lot of role players.
That's what's going to make a top 10 awesome. That's what's going to make it awesome.
That's a lot of role players.
Let's write this thing down.
Yes.
What up? What up? Hey, I like that one. Solid.
People act like having 10 favorite role players is normal.
So just don't see the problem with that.
Hey, chat family, you guys are the best. Thank you guys for being here and for supporting us. If you haven't gotten the opportunity to, go on ahead and smash that like button for the WUW Crew. And I think we're just on the outside of our first goal. So if you guys help us reach there before the end of the show, it would definitely be appreciated. Probably need about 10, 13 likes. And we are there. But shout out to our brother Matthew Broder and that dude Justin. I know he's going to be back in with us at the end of the week and can't wait to see you again, bro. Tom Herb being in the chat. Shout out to Korea Pistons fan, man, and appreciate you for tapping in. And he's already sharing some of the content. Rod Beard, the legend, was on today. Shout out to him. So if you missed that content, you could definitely go back and check it out. But Kavasi Chase GPT, what up, though?
Hey, what up, though? Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Stay tapped in. Big D Energy, Top 5 Wednesday. Ermanni and Edwards. Who knows what they'll get into today. It's been an electric week so far. And then heavyweights, they're always entertaining. They have a good mix of sports and entertainment. So stay tapped in. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I want to shout out my dad. Shout out the guys at Seymour Ford. Shout out everybody at Eaton Manufacturing in Jackson. Mr. Lockridge. Hope you guys all have a great day. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Hey, dope. This elite booth. We starting the sound booth for Detroit. So I'm going to draft big. That is KG, a.k.a. Black Hollywood. Rookie of the year going for MVP. What up, though?
Hey, halfway through the week, man. Halfway through the week. But shout out to everybody that tapped in. Shout out to my team. Love y'all. Let's keep this rolling. Let's keep it rolling.
Woodward Sports MVP in the TD booth. That is JBSmooovv. What up, though, brother?
It's hump day. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Pistons Heat tonight. ESPN, 7:30. Everyone get there, Stay tapped in, be tuned in. Another great show, and hey, weekend's almost here, tournament's almost here. Let's have some fun the rest of the week.
Let's have some fun. To the vet of the squad and the network, Red Wings correspondent, tap in with Woodward Wings, all sports knowing Go Blue lover. What up, dog?
Hey, I'll tell you what.
Flannel Sand.
Going into Miami, I think this is the game that the Pistons should win because the Heat, they're not what they have been. They're a fledgling play-in team that might end up losing their spot to the Bulls, or at least they're acceding to the Bulls. So go in and win this game. The Heat are not what they have been.
You remember our early conversations in the year when we were looking at, Pistons gonna have a real shot at number 4 because look at these dysfunction teams. We talked about Jimmy Butler and all of that dysfunction, Orlando Magic and such, and Atlanta Hawks, and all of these teams are always attached to weird trade rumors or injury issues or a combination of the two. So the Pistons will be good. I think this is another one of those handle your business games. I don't care who's on the other side of that tonight. And the Heat is one of those teams, get back, especially that 2004 night where we have boots on the ground.
Man,
that was crazy.
That was nuts.
Hey, it's your boy Brandon Day, aka Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. It's been a great show because of you guys, but I'm hoping that you guys have an even better day. It's been Wake Up Woodward.
Like after I saw, the top 15 black wrestlers of all time list.
Yes.
Surprisingly, I don't think this is the worst list in the world. Although we got to talk about some people that was left off.
Some of these names,
Yeah. So who do you think is the biggest snook?
Jay Lethal.
That's another name that should absolutely be in this list.
Go.
I mean, come on, we talking about Black Machismo, bro. He imitated Randy Savage, dog, and it worked. Not only that, bro, he had the greatest promo with Ric Flair of all time. The woo off, bro. Bro, the woo off was fucking crazy, bro. But